Hey, Doug,
What's up, Rizzy?
how you doing?
I'm doing great. Doing
So,
great.
do we tell them that we're actually not just handsome people, but we're actually related?
I would go more than related. I mean, brothers are brothers, right?
Brothers are brothers. We're brothers, everyone. Well, wait a minute, Bruce. Your last name's Simon. He's a Sandler. What's the deal? I know. Well, long
Same
story short,
same father.
same father. I look. If I said what I say to everybody on the street my whole life, Doug would get mad at me.
Uh-oh, what is that?
I
You're
say,
the
well, my mom and I adopted him when I was a little boy.
Wait a minute. I thought the older brother was adopted.
So listen, I've been a marketer for a while. I just need some help, if you don't mind. I know you're really big into podcasting now. I love that you have a bestseller. Nice guys win. What's it? Nice
Oh,
guys.
come on. See, this is like just like my brother. He
Yeah.
pretends not to know the name of the book. Nice guys finish first.
Nice guys finish first. Bestseller in 2017, 15,
Geez, 2015. That's gosh,
2015.
that's 5, 6 years ago almost.
And then I think you were kind enough to tell me you're killing it. In the last 5 years, you've got like over 4 million downloads. Are you kidding me?
It's been a great run. The last few years have been really great. The Nice Guys on Business podcast has been the platform of my entire second half of my life, which has been terrific. These last 5 years have been amazing with this podcast.
I'm so pleased. It's just, oh, I just got goosebumps for real, for real. And then, for you analytical types, not me, you have you've clicked over into what, 1,052 episodes, something
Yeah,
like that.
the whole idea of getting into podcasting is to be consistent with your content creation, and
Yeah.
we've just been consistent over the last 5 years. At our busiest, we were doing 5 episodes a week. We're at 3 episodes a week right now, and we love the podcast because it's just a lead generation factory for our business.
So here's the thing. I can't connect those dots. I know it's lead generation, and I'm a business owner. I'm a solopreneur. Okay. And don't worry, you don't have to be defensive. It's not about that. Look, I was around when my newfangled shoes had, we walked both ways, right, to school, all uphill at the same
All
time.
uphill in
I'm
the
one
snow.
of those guys. Faxing was big. It was so big that lawyers would sue, not me. They would look for people. They couldn't wait for a fax to come into their fax machine, so they would literally sue you and hold you for ransom. So, but faxing had a nice run. And then, direct mail has always been good, postcards, et cetera. Great, love it. And then finally, somebody invented email. Oh my God, email was great. And then people started texting. Awesome. And after texting, then social media, Facebook, LinkedIn. I've been digging in LinkedIn since 2007, digging my well every day. I have Sales Navigator for $80 a month, but look, I feel spoiled. It's hard work,
Mhm.
and the response rate is just poor.
Well,
Maybe
now
it's
it
the,
is. It was.
maybe
I think
it's
at one point it was probably better than it is now.
so. So now I know. Look, you don't have to educate me, even though that it's your business. I know, Doug. Podcasting for the average Joe and the average Jane is a real thing. I just don't know how to connect the dots in my brain. Can you help?
Well, what really sparked this curiosity and this initiative was that we were trying to figure out after 17 months of podcasting how we can make money at this thing, because at that point we had 20,000 downloads, which was great, and we had probably 200 episodes, and we we're trying to figure out how to connect the dots and actually make some money from this thing. And I didn't want to be a guy out there hustling for advertising and sponsorship for my show. So we developed this strategy called our guest to client strategy. It's literally a pre-qualification process of a guest that potentially would have access to our guest seat on our show, pre-qualifying them for the products and services that we're selling, no matter what you're selling, whether it's sales training or accounting services, doesn't really matter what you're selling. Pre-qualifying them, putting them in the guest seat, asking them questions that will help determine whether they would be a good fit for the products and services that we have. Using the podcast as an interview tool, interview-based selling is amazing. It's like this microphone is truth serum. We talked about that before, but it is also an ATM. So the
What?
idea of it's an ATM, it's an automatic teller machine. You can't see the money that's coming out of this, but the joke I always have with my clients is, how many times would you open up this microphone if every time you open up this microphone, you made $5,000 to $10,000? So when people say, oh, but it takes too much time to get into podcasting, I don't disagree. You probably are going to spend some time in it. But if you treat it like a hobby and you just open up this mic when it's convenient for you, you won't make any money. You treat it like a business and you put this thing at the head of your lead gen and business development process. This thing is fire, and it will absolutely develop a client list that's a mile long for you. Imagine, Bruce, being able to have people that are asking to be on your show. Now, keeping in mind this guest to client strategy of turning your guests into clients.
It's like farm to table, restaurant, farm to table. Yeah,
absolutely. The farm to table version podcasting is guest to client strategy.
Love it.
So imagine pre-qualifying them to come on your show based upon the set of parameters that you would use to qualify any prospect, asking them questions that would help you determine whether they're a potential client for you, having a conversation, building a relationship over 30, 40, or maybe even 60 minutes of time. At the end of that, just saying, hey, John, I don't know if it makes sense, but the stuff that you were talking about, I fixed that. Or what do we do next? Or anything that you have to say that would be in your wheelhouse for what you would say to your prospects. The nice thing about it is because the microphone is truth serum, they're going to tell you, hey, look, Bruce, we all know prospects lie, right? They all lie, unfortunately. So put something that's truth serum in front of them and they won't lie. And you ask them questions, they'll give you honest answers because they're not sharing just their message with you. They're sharing their message with your community. So when you start to ask them some of the vulnerable spots, the parts that they're still working on in their business, and it's the stuff that you can fix, now you don't just have an obligation to put them in the services that you have an obligation to help them. And that's what my job is. My job is to help them. Now take it one step further. We have 20 to 50 people that apply to be on our show every week. Keep in mind, guest to client strategy. They're not applying to be guests on our show. What are they applying to be?
Yeah.
They're applying to be clients.
Yes.
How would you like to have people that are applying to be clients, waiting in line to buy the products and services that you have? That's what podcasting is. Game over.
I'm going to grab the mic. What I love about that whole thing is a lot of solopreneurs are accountants, architects, lawyers, consultants with a narrow expertise. And the way they've been doing it is through what we call the introduction. Getting a high quality referral, we call that an introduction. Whatever the difference is, it's pretty powerful. They've been doing it that way their whole life, since professional school, since MBA school, since they got out of school. This is like referrals on steroids, is what this is. Now, look, I'm an accountant, I'm a lawyer, I'm a narrow niche consultant in some vertical. I don't have a following. I don't have a community. How do I deal with that?
Well, the riches are in the niches. So the tighter that you can actually get down into your market, the better that you are. So let's say that you're an accountant for a moment and your job is to sell your accounting services. And the best client for you would be enterprise-wide accounting services for a big firm that needs your services. And they're going to spend 150 grand a year.
Right.
How challenging do you think it would be to call that firm, the guy that hires the accountants to come in and talk?
Managing partner, that guy.
Okay. So now you're on the phone prospecting. You got a gatekeeper to get through, got a whole process to get through. And then finally you get the guy on the phone and you say you're magic, whatever it is that you're magic. And they say, hey, I'm sorry, I already have accounting services. Of course they do. They've gotten to their level already having accounting.
Right.
Now, how about if you make that same phone call, instead of saying, hey, would you be interested in talking about my accounting services? How would you like to say, hey, Mr. Smith, I'd love to share your story with my community. Would you be open to sharing your story and your wins and victories on my podcast? What do you think that they're going to say, Bruce?
Bing. Right to the front of the line, right to the head of the line.
No gatekeeper, no challenge. Again, it's the easiest thing in the world. Now, my feeling is that you're obligated when you have somebody that comes on your show as a guest to either put them in your services if they have a need, or the other side of it, if you actually discover through the course of your interview that they wouldn't be a good fit for whatever reason, maybe you don't like them, maybe they don't like you, maybe you're not going to feel like you're a good fit. You never have to open your mouth and say a word about what you do. Just say, Mr. Smith, thanks for coming on the show. I'll let you know when the show goes live. I appreciate you being here. Did I say anything about how big an audience you need to have in order to build a community of make money? It's not about your community. No. Most people think that a successful podcast is about how large a community that you have. Now, if you're Tim Ferriss or Joe Rogan, I would agree because they make all their money on sponsorship and advertising. I don't want you to sell sponsorship and advertising. Man, that is way too hard. But put people into your podcast as a guest. Use our farm to table. Love that terminology. Farm to table, guest to client strategy. It's a winner and it'll work for you too.
Yeah. All right. So we've overcome that whole thing about no community. What about, it's my first episode? Oh my God.
Yeah, not unusual. And that is something that a lot of people do bring to me. It's like, how am I going to get anybody in the beginning of this? Well, wait a minute. In the beginning of what? I mean, you've been doing accounting for 30 years now. Why, what's a podcast have anything to do with that? All you're going to do is you're going to have that person come on your show. Now, keep in mind, day one, your head's in the way because that 6 inches between your ears is the reason why you feel like you can't be successful. But if you accelerate that 1,100 episodes later, you think about those first episodes. People are still listening to my first episode. Now I'm 4 million downloads later in 175 countries and 1,100 episodes or whatever it is. It doesn't matter. But my head is in the right place now. You put your head in the right place at the beginning. You know that you own a media company. They're not doing you a favor by coming on your show. You are doing them a favor by sharing your community, their message with your future community that you're going to have at episode 1,100.
So it's all up here for the accountant, for the architect, for the lawyer, for whoever, the consultant.
Yep.
It's up here.
Yep. All in their head.
And do I still have a media company, using your words, even though I'm an accountant? Like, help me wrap my head around that.
So keep in mind that you have a platform that you are sharing. Your platform is your podcast. And yes, you own a media company. It's a small media company in the beginning. It's a large media company when, hey, I'm running this business for the last 5 years out of the spare bedroom of my home. I have a team of 12 people. They're all in their remote spots too. They're all in their homes also. Why do we need to be in a big office building paying, $2,500 a month or 25,000 in rent?
Right.
Let's keep our overhead low. Let's keep our expenses low and let's make a lot of money at this.
So that's good. So that really moved the needle for me in my mind. Next question. How do I keep up with the demand, the pace of a podcast? I don't know. Is it once a month, once a week, once a quarter?
Well, can I ask you a question in return?
Yeah.
If every time, again, I want to go back to something I said maybe 10 or 15 minutes ago.
Yeah.
If every time you open up this microphone, you make, I don't know, Bruce, accounting services. Let's use that accountant, that hypothetical accountant for a second. Enterprise-wide accounting services. What would that typically sell for if you had any idea?
150 grand a year, just monetized, just average. Yeah.
Okay. So if every time you opened up that microphone, you had a potential to make $150,000, let me ask you the question. How many times would you open up the microphone in the course of the month?
Every day, baby.
Okay.
20 days a month.
So for every reason people have for why they can't do it, I don't have enough time. I don't have enough energy. I don't know how I'm going to prospect. Now, imagine that this show actually is successful.
Right.
You can eliminate every bit of your prospecting. No other business. I don't use any other business development tool. I've never bought one Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter ad, nothing.
Yeah.
So for me,
I can't even spell Instagram, to be honest, right?
And TikTok, I don't even know what that is, so don't get me going there.
Me neither.
So for me, if every time I open up this microphone, there's a potential to make $5,000 and $10,000, I figure out a way. People will put roadblocks in my way why they can't do this. And what I would say, if you lower that window of skepticism just enough to understand that podcasting is a way to develop business, it's a way for lead gen, you can see your way through to this as well.
Wow. I'm itching my mosquito bites, but I'm getting it. Like, I'm finally getting it. The mild-mannered Clark Kent metaphor? Well, that's who I am. I'm mild-mannered. I'm not this razzle-dazzle guy. I'm just an introverted kind of guy, hanging out, doing consulting. But I can actually pull this off, can't I? And even if it means giving up time, which is non-productive, I'm just thinking out loud. Digging through LinkedIn, hunting down my future prospect. Clicking, getting an invite, hoping they accept, getting them to get me on the phone. It's like that's time consuming. Now what you're telling me is what? They're going to line up at my door basically to be a guest on the podcast.
I want to make 2 points if I could, because I want to go back to something you were starting to get into. I thought about the personality and the quiet nature that you have, and just share with you, if curiosity is your communication tool, you'll do extremely well with podcasting. Being quiet actually is to your benefit, not to your detriment here, because you'll be a good question asker. Ask your question and shut up. Ask your question and shut up. Ask your question and shut up. And you know what? Be a part of the conversation as well. So if you can add to the conversation, stroking the ego of the person that's sitting in the guest seat, building a relationship with them, that's the key to success in the podcasting space. It's not how charismatic that I can be so that my community thinks me I'm wonderful. This actually has nothing to do with your community. It has everything to do with your guest. And if you can serve your guest best, you'll be successful at this. The other thing I just wanted to hit on for a brief moment, because you talked about it, you were getting into the, hey, I don't have to go through the click, join, connect, then
Right.
follow up. It's as simple as eliminating all of that stuff, finding the person that is the key. Now, look, I could probably say to you, Bruce, could you put down 50 names of people that you would have as your ideal targets, not as a guest, but ideal targets as a client for your business? And
I've been staring at those 50 names for the last 5 years.
so all I want you to do is call those 50 people and just say, hey, John, you're on my list of my 50 top people targeted. And he's going,
Right.
well, what target am I?
Yeah.
I got to have you on my podcast. I've got to share your story. I've got to
Right.
tell my community how great you are. Would you be open to that? Now, how many ego strokes can you possibly give someone before they give up and say, yes, I'll do it?
I get the feeling, now tell me if I'm right, John is not replying back, hey, Doug, tell me about your community. Hey, Doug, who are they? Hey, Doug.
That's what we think they're going to do. We all think that they are going to do that. We all feel like, well, I'm going to be exposed. I'm an intruder. I am an imposter right now. There's no way anybody's going to. And I will tell you, it's probably 2 out of 20 that will ask you any questions about your community. And instead of answering them about your community, you answer them about your accolades, the things that you've done that have been successful. Yes, I'm launching a podcast. Yes, I have no audience right now, but I know in 100 episodes, I'm going to have a big audience and people will still be able to access that episode. That's number one. But secondly, come on, can we be real for a second? I've spent 30 years in the sales training or whatever business, accounting business that I've been in. I've built a multi-million-dollar company. That's what I'm bringing. I'm bringing my experience to the podcast. I just want you to share your story with my community because I really think my community is going to relate to you. Have I mentioned that? Have I said anything about a download to that person?
Nope.
The other thing is, I challenge you right across the street, right here, Wells Fargo.
Mm-hmm.
I can't take my download to Wells Fargo and cash it. They're not going to cash it, but they will cash a check. And for me, it's all about putting the right person in the guest seat so they can understand that I'm sharing their message with my community. I'm pre-qualifying them in the process. Look, I don't want to say that I'm good at this, but I'm going to stroke my ego for a second. I've gotten so good at this point where I can actually bring somebody onto my show, tell them what I'm about to do to them, do it to them, and have them pay me for doing it to them.
Oh, it's crazy.
And I can do that while my community listens. And my community is just rooting me on. Go, go, go. That's the best part about it. It is at this point in the career path of podcasting, it's ultimately anybody that wants to make money podcasting while growing a community, because the byproduct of doing it this way is if you focus first on how do you make money podcasting, you will grow your community, you will build influence, and you will be able to spread your message to a large community. That was never my intent in the beginning. It was never anything that I had as my goal. That's been the byproduct of me making a lot of money podcasting.
So I'm a business owner. Doug, can we just jump right to the money? What's the investment? Because it is an investment. I get it. It's a different form of advertising, basically.
Yeah.
What are my tiers and how can I jump in this thing?
So you can get into podcasting in one of 3 ways. Totally hands-on, where you're doing all the work yourself. Our DIY program is called the Ultimate Podcast Launch Formula, and it's 100% self-paced. It's an online course for $497. So that's a no-brainer. Easy to do. The problem with that is that most people won't do the work.
Right.
So you can put yourself in that course to see if it's something that you want to do. But most people tend to look at our 2 other packages. We have a $3,500 package that gets your podcast off the ground, gets it rolling so that you're really comfortable. We handle all the back end work. We build the template for your shows. So that things like your cover art and your open and your close, that's a professional voiceover guy that comes on. We establish the relationship with Apple Podcasts and Stitcher and iTunes, all of the different places. That's that $3,500 package. Most people look at that package and say, that's great. But they forget, hey, now that I actually have a podcast, I need some strategy behind it. I want to work this thing the right way. I want to come up with a guest management plan. I want to come up with a sales strategy. I want to come up with the business building platform. And that's $7,500. That's called our Ready, Aim, Fire package. And for that package, you're all in. It's guaranteed launch. We build the entire template. We give you all the templates for any emails that you're going to go out and come back. We hand carry you through the entire process. You're like a child in our hands as you go through this. For $7,500, we do it all. And we build the strategy with you. And we're with you every step of the way, all the way through the process.
I get the feeling, I'm going to change gears. This is a timing issue. we're here. We are at the end of COVID. We hope and pray. People are still devouring content. They may as well devour my content to my guest, who's going to be my future client. Timing.
It's all timing. And if you look at timing and you say the same thing that you just said, but take a slightly different spin, and you say, well, geez, it's COVID is tough. It's been challenging on my business. I can't get people to buy anything. Well, this is the way to get the meter running. Get the meter running in your business. Get a podcast started. Yes, it will cost you money. We'll figure out how to make it make sense for you financially when it comes to splitting up the $7,500 or the $500.
Sure.
But for you not to get into podcasting because the money is tight,
yeah,
I would tell you that's not the right answer.
Well,
I hate to say it.
I'm with you, because it's an investment. It's a lead generator that's been front of the line. Just like never before have we seen a lead generation capability like podcasting, when done and managed correctly from pros. Hey, what are people's next steps, Doug? You know the drill now.
I would just say get in touch with you.
Okay, fair enough. So you guys can email me, whoever you are. It's Bruce at Bruce Coastal. I know it's not, my name is Bruce. We moved to the beach. Bruce Coastal, not very creative. That's why I need your $7,500 package.
He's got to hire a branding expert.
There's so much power in what you just said. It hesitated me. Just email me. That's it. That's all I got. Look, if you want a little free report, I don't know if you want to go backwards, but a free report just to see some stuff, it would be tiny.cc/ which is a / Bruce podcaster. It's just a free report. Just some collateral material, as we used to say in the olden days.
Can I just have them just pass go and collect their $200?
Yeah.
The free report's great, but that's not for somebody that's listening to this video. Just get in touch with Bruce. That's the best way to do it.
All right. I'll give him the cell. Fine. Here's and look, I don't know if you have my cell on your phone. Probably 443-629-0525. Call me.
Brothers again and together.
Right. Nice. Good job.